we return to Graveyard Keeper. I am Serpent Stare, and we have passed our first 1.7 days in Graveyard Keeper. Taking a look here for the moment at things that we can potentially make. Now, there are a couple of priorities that we can get to. There's this garden down here that I can start working on, and I think I will. I also wanted to try doing some baking with some of the flour that we found in the basement. And yes, we will also be able to plant and grow wheat at some point. There's the 4 hemp seeds that I bought from the dealer on the outskirts of town. I can also now harvest mushrooms and berries, which is handy because they are a useful form of wild food. Now cannot move past these bushes. The mushrooms will actually cost a small amount of health to eat, but they provide 5 energy, which is significant. The berries just offer 5 energy with no downside, so they are somewhat easier to stomach, I guess. I will draw a pail of water here. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this really frustrated the heck out of me when I first played this game, because somehow I just did not notice the well. There was a bunch of things that I didn't notice my first time playing the game, and I had no idea how to get water for a very long time. Well, you do that, and then you use it. And using it dumps out the water into units of water, and you get 20 units of water per pail. You can stack up to 50 in one spot. So, now that I have some water there, I can make bread. Or I can make dough, rather, which costs 2 flour and 3 water. This is something else that I didn't notice my first time playing the game until I started watching some videos made by other people about it. You can increase the number that you are looking to produce by doing that. And that will queue up 7 tasks. You can start 1 and then keep going. However, once you've queued it up at this workbench anyway, there's nothing really I can do with the workbench until that task has been finished. And it looks like this could be done, paused animation there, that happens sometimes, with many menial tasks. Let's increase the amount of fuel that I'm looking to put in that fire. So now that's been refueled to 70. And I can use 5 fuel of that supply. It doesn't get used up while I'm not using the oven, because the oven is super considerate like that, and take an hour to produce 2 bread out of 2 dough. So I can just queue up a bunch of these, up to enough to use up all the fuel and all the dough. I'm gonna pretend like I did that on purpose, to just keep making bread here until all that bread is done, in which case I don't have to babysit it. I can just leave it there and it will happen on its own over time. And as you might imagine, my first time going through the game, not realizing that I could do that, I was left in the awkward position of running back and forth between tasks, resetting things constantly, making a terribly inefficient use of time. Clearing out some other things here. And there is a body there, which is currently at 52% freshness. Right there. It's been sitting there since about dawn, I think. And it's in terrible shape. Because I have been neglecting my duties as Graveyard Keeper to run around and do other things. Hello, Jerry. Here's your bear. I got you a bear. Oh, what a disappointment. I think I need something stronger. What's up? You can barely taste it, right? It's like you don't have a tongue in there. Alright, you seem like a decent guy. So here's some advice. Stop running around bragging that you're from another world. Today, you whisper that to a drinking buddy in a tavern, and tomorrow your face is on every pole in the town. So if you want to keep yours, just stop. Maybe he's right. I should be more careful. So what was your question? I can get him some wine at some point soon. I have some questions. How can I get back home? Easy. Sure, you could use the portal on Witch Hill. So I just need to go through it, or what? Do I need to turn it on first? The answer to this is yes. I obviously don't have a brain inside here, so I'm not sure where this knowledge is coming from. I've told you everything I can remember. Maybe some books from the library could help you. Wow, the church has a library in its cellar. Or maybe the astrologer knows something. He's a smart man. He used to steal books from libraries when he was a kid. Oh, he's so smart and very cheerful, though I don't know him personally, I think. But his wine was the best. He was a big friend of the lighthouse keeper. We used to hang out at the lighthouse every moon day. It's good to know. Where's the lighthouse? Somewhere near... let's see... Sard. I don't remember. All these questions are so frustrating. You're not a very good friend, you know. The lighthouse keeper is far to the east. I believe we asked Roderick about that in the tavern. Or... no, it was Wagner, the poet. How can I get to the library? Obviously through the church. And I think your wine cellar might be connected to the church cellar. Oh, even the morgue is connected. There's a network of tunnels down here. Net. I used to like fishing. I remember fishing. Once I caught a fish, sorry, I've got no hands to show how big it was. But believe me, it was huge. I hate fish tails. And once... you know what? I need to go. Sure, it's nice to have legs. Don't forget to bring me some wine. So I could get a bottle of wine. We need to have a silver star. The star system is also something which is held in common with Stardew Valley. So, there's a whole bunch of unknown body parts here, and I could in theory insert something, but I've got nothing to insert. I can take the flesh, and this body is partly rotted, and it has more of a sense of that decay there. But we can still take the flesh from it. We can, in fact, even still eat the flesh from it, and we can still bury this. But I'm not going to. You know how Yorick, the ghost, told us that we should dig up the fellow in the corner, in the bottom right, and throw him in the river? That would be this body down here. Now, this has 1 red skull, 5 white skulls. And there are some others kind of like that in here. This one's 3 red, 1 white, 2 red, 3 white, 3 red, 3 white, 3 red, 3 white, 2 red, 2 white. And, I'm not going to explain all of this right now because we're going to get a tutorial on it later. But that fellow there on the lower right, this one here, this is one of the highest quality bodies that we have in this graveyard. In terms of getting this score as high as it can be, we want to keep him around. So despite Yorick's personal grudge, we won't be throwing him in the river. This body, however, has no white skulls at this point. It's rotted through the only white skull it was going to have. So I'm going to throw this in the river because I don't want to bury it. What do you think you're doing here? A ghost asked me to get rid of this body. That's not actually quite true. Also, that's a typo. So what? Now you're just going to do everything he asks? It's not like he can do anything to you. He's disembodied. Whereas I can bite you to death while you're sleeping. You threatening me, Jared? Of course, I'd never do anything like that because we're friends, but you get my point, right? Anyway, you ask me the best way to get rid of a body is to burn it. That does sound like maybe a sensible thing to be doing. People burn bodies. It's part of the whole religious culture. I believe Zoroastrianism is a big fan of burning bodies, unless I'm getting that wrong, which I might be. How can I burn a body? You know what? You're one of those guys who looks a lot smarter than they actually are. Thanks. That's what I'm talking about. You need fire and some wood. It's a bit tricky to make the whole thing burnt ash. Where can I burn it? You need a nice, quiet place, like the place I use for my meditation. Across the road from the mortuary entrance, near the river. Do you know where that river leads? Apparently I need to ask both of these questions. I don't have an option to just leave it. The river, somewhere down to the town, I think. Each important character who the graveyard keeper meets will appear on the character screen. I mean, this is good to know. I'm not sure why it's relevant to this right now. Yes, I need to reach a better score at the graveyard. Tasks related to a character are listed to the right. Get a bottle of wine. Why am I being shown this right now? Why am I being shown this? I don't get it. Okay, fine. Chop down this small tree. And continue being confused. Yeah, I'm gonna eat some mushrooms. And some berries. And a flower. This should give me a substantial amount of energy back. And now you see my health bar, because it's missing a very small amount of health that you can't really see. Let me chop down this tree. It's harder to see anything right now. And my shovel has broken. Oh, good. Well, I can fix that. Also, there's a hole there. And there's a blueprint here, which is an indication that I could do something here, but I can't right now because I don't have the tech for it. This is ostensibly the crematorium. Hint, hint. So, at some point, I can burn bodies here in this quiet place by the cliff. Right now, though, I'm just going to bring this log back home. Maybe get some sleep and see how that bread is doing. Well, we have cooked 16 bread. And this is a better source of food. I could eat a bread for 15 energy. Pretty good deal. Now I could repair my rusty shovel with the whetstone, and for the moment I will. There's that whetstone again. Puts back in my inventory. It is now at 90%. Now we have this blueprint, which you'll see has more things on this list than it did before. That's because of the text that I have researched. It takes 10 wooden sticks to set up a sawhorse, which will enable me to do something with these logs. So let us set up a sawhorse. And now you can see there's these. This is the kind of restrictions that we have on where we can put these. We've got our outhouse out here, and there's limitations on what areas we can build in because you can't block the path and things like that. Now I'm thinking I'm actually going to maybe put this just here for now. And then you see we need to actually build it. And now we can use this, and we have 3 logs over here, so we could turn one into billets or into flitches. Now we know we're going to need flitches, so let's do that. We know we're going to need a billet too, so let's queue that. We can use the sawhorse to process some wooden materials. Like that. Huh? The Inquisitor! I've just seen the Inquisitor right nearby, going up the path to Witch Hill. That seems like serious business. Oh, sorry, you'll kill me, or even worse. Calm down. I'll go distract him. Maybe I'll find something on this hill that will help me get home. He did mention the portal on Witch Hill. Okay, so it is now Monday, and the Inquisitor is visiting Witch Hill. I'm just gonna put some of my materials here in the trunk. I have room to carry them, but I like to keep my inventory fairly light. I have other things that I can do here too. I can make a wooden anvil with two of those billets that I just made. And I should have... No, perhaps not yet. Well, there's things I can build here. Let's build a wooden anvil. I need a 3x3 space for that. And I can build a furnace. I need a 5x7 space for that. Now, some of these things can be rotated. Not all of them can be, and they can only be rotated to certain orientations. I would really like it if I could rotate this in such a way that enabled me to, like, stack some here or something, but there's not room for it anyway. Trying to make the most effective use of the space is something that I wind up obsessing far too much about. And I'd kind of rather not block off the path this side of the outhouse because it's just kind of handy to go back there. Well, I guess let's do that. And then we don't have any more simple iron parts. For now. For now, we can get more later. For the time being, have a bite to eat, and head out east to see what is up with the Inquisitor. The hemp that we planted, which is growing nicely. The art and music in this game is really lovely. Everything is ready, Monsignor. Good. Were there any problems? His menacing whispers. No, Monsignor, except there was this strange fellow snooping around. Oh, there he is. Halt. Excuse me? Guys, calm down. I live here at the graveyard. He calls us guys? Why, he's a cultist for certain, Monsignor. I'm the graveyard keeper. I work as the keeper of the local graveyard. You can ask any of the villagers about me. Then you're definitely a new one. I feel that you're telling the truth. Would you join me at the witch burning ceremony? Now, last time I played this game, I answered no. This time I want to see what happens if I'm not resistant to the Inquisitor. It would be my honor. So how did you find yourself in such an interesting position? Nah, screw Jerry. Let's be honest with him. Actually, I'm from another world. I'm not entirely sure how I got here. Chances are he'll think that I'm lying. I need to get back home to my love. I don't think it's an appropriate time for jokes, and I don't appreciate your general demeanor. Here I am, the great Inquisitor. I protect the one true faith in humankind itself. We're having a tough time in the town. The ship of the dead is already overloaded, and there's a new one stuck in the shipyard. Your graveyard is opening again at a suspiciously auspicious time. The dark cult is rising. I can feel it. Righteous anger rises with it in my soul. We've burned thousands of witches and heretics for 30 years. It's, pretty threatening. And it's only the beginning. Light the fire. Burn the witch. Yes, Monsignor. Long live the Great Inquisitor. Hurrah! So, you work with a lot of dead bodies, huh? Yes, I think it's part of my job. And you live right beside this hill near the graveyard, that right? Yes. Interesting. Interesting. You know, I need someone to be my friend here at the village. A friend of mine is a friend of the Holy Inquisition. I don't trust the villagers. They don't go to church, and even refuse to lay in their graves after death. How's that now? But you're new here. You might notice something unusual. I mean, you don't like my sense of humor, but I'll try to help you out. Maybe you'll come around. Sure, it'll be a pleasure to be your friend. A wise choice. Friendship is based on trust and goodwill. That'll be difficult. To earn my trust and to be a friend of the Inquisition, you will first have to show your goodwill. So I have a couple of minor tasks for you. What kind of tasks? Everything in due time. Today is a day of wrath, not a day of sweating the minor details. We can talk next Monday, or any other Monday. I like to come here. There is no other place where I can feel my holy wrath so deeply. It seems that each of the NPCs, the notable ones, are associated with one of the seven deadly sins. And this, fellas, is wrath. I don't feel the associations are always that clear. But this guy's easy. The bishop is pride. Miss Charm is almost certainly lust. And then there are a few more. We may notice that this archway reflects the symbols of the days of the week. Plus one more. I do a little bit of digging up sticks since I happen to be here. I think some of these might regrow, but I'm not sure. They might not. I just have a habit in this kind of game of getting distracted, taking whatever resources are close to the area that I happen to be in. Just a tangle of old stones. Looks like a building used to be here. Yep, not enough energy. What if I eat this? Then I can finish that. And I have more sticks. There's another path that goes over here that we didn't really explore, and this overlooks the farm, the garden area down there, and it has some of these patches in it that I could dig, but I don't have the energy for that right now. And up here, there is a fallen log. I could use flitches, complex iron parts, and wood wedges to clear it, but I don't have that right now. Continue exploring up here. Check out some more of the absolutely beautiful landscape. The art and the music in this game is just lovely. And we find a burned house. It's an overgrown garden that overlooks this swampy area back here. and has a grave with a body that was buried, thoroughly rotted, and has not been well maintained. Over here, there is a ramp that leads back up here. The guards are leaving now to go home. This is a patch of marble that I can do nothing with right now. That's a tree that I can do nothing with right now. So I am going to return home and rest. Give me a long walk back. But we do get to explore and enjoy the lovely music as we go. Check out the graphical glitches as these guards walk on me. Standing in front of NPCs who are moving will cause them to push you. It's entertaining. And really doesn't save any time. These mushrooms and berries are all already moving around. And the bread here is finished cooking. I could fry some eggs if I refuel the fire first. But I don't feel like it right now. I'll just go to sleep. You'll notice that it is now noonday, and we were told... Oh! Hello. Good, it's much nicer without him at the graveyard. I totally cheated that. He's still there, bro. You're fooling yourself. I'm still so sad, though. I'm so lonely. I was bad when I was alive. I should have been a better person. What do you mean? We're dead, but we still deserve some respect. Oh, fine, I'll tell you. Each corpse is a soul's vessel. It bears the mark of his life. Sins are red skulls, and good deeds are white skulls. Even the best decorations can't make a graveyard a peaceful place when it's full of red skulls. I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about. I'm sure you don't. You better take good care of the graveyard. A good care. Yep. I'll be watching you. I can't do anything. I'm so sad. Alright, here we go. The human remains have their own unique spiritual attributes, which it gets from its body parts, and ostensibly the acts that it performs in life. You can change a corpse's skull symbols by removing organs and embalming. The main way to increase your graveyard's peace or something is to decorate the graves with objects that have more wreath. Each line that has both a white skull and a wreath counts as one piece. Lines that have red skulls never count, but you need to fill them with wreaths to reach the white skull lines. So basically, you have to fill up all the red skulls first before you can even reach the white skulls. And before you fill those, I'm going to take a moment here to cut up this flesh and cook some of it. Cook that. Fuel the fire, and then cook that. There we go. Right, so you need to deal with the red skulls before you can even reach the white skulls, and the white skulls are the only thing that can give your graveyard the ranking that you need to reach in order to open the church and maintain a generally nice graveyard. So it depends not only on the graveyard being well maintained, but also having high quality bodies in it, which is what I was talking about with regard to that fellow in the bottom right. It was actually one of the best bodies we had there. Yep, there's some baked meat. I'm going to store that for now. What did I have over here again? Energy potions, baked meat, flour, and egg. Stack all of this on top. Try to keep things organized. There we go. Now, we found some more simple iron parts in the basement, which would enable us to make a trunk, but we've already got one of those and aren't really suffering for storage space right now. What we want right now is a wooden anvil. And I could tuck that in right there, so I will. What will this allow us to do? If we had iron ingots, we could make more nails or more simple iron parts. We can't do that now. We don't have any ingots. We can make ingots using the furnace, which I just built. But to do that, we need fuel for it, and we need ore. And we don't have any ore. Or metal scraps, but we don't have any of those either. We were told by the blacksmith that the best ore is found in the swamp, so we're going to want to visit the swamp. So, harvesting my the hemp over here, you do get some of the seeds back, but only some of them. We also get some crop waste, and the actual crop, in this case hemp. I don't have anything else to plant there right now, so I'm just going to bring this over here and store those for later. Now, we have nails, we have simple iron parts, we have some flitches. I believe we needed flitches and nails in order to restore some things. So let's carry those with us. Oh. Hello, donkey. Oh. He doesn't want to talk to me right now. He's in transit. He's busy. But we do happen to be in the right place at the right time to address this body while it's still fresh. So we can take some flesh out of it, and then we have one red, one white skull. And we could go and bury this. I want to check my technologies. We also have the opportunity to research soft spares, blood and fat, and hard spares, skull, bone, and skin. I'm not actually certain about this, but I have a suspicion that the terminology might be suggesting that it's easy for a body to spare, or do without while maintaining its structural integrity, blood and fat, and still hold together just fine, but it's harder for the body to resemble still being a body if you take out the skull, or the bones, or the skin. Anyway, I'm looking for simple gravestones? No, not yet. What am I looking for? Improvement? Garden bed with sticks, transplanting, beekeeping, create honey and gather beeswax, decay. I do want this decay. It only costs green points, knowledge about nature. Decay will allow me to build a compost heap and use the crop waste that we get from harvesting crops to turn that into peat, which can be used to fertilize crops, and then I think then you get back more seeds and possibly more crop from it. We could become a master gatherer, but not yet. There is smithing. There is access to greater tools, access to making glass, access to advanced forging, which we can't do yet. We haven't done enough work. There's building. Here's what I want. We want a chopping spot, which will enable us to create firewood, which fuels our fire and are forged more effectively than sticks, and wood wedges, which we need to clear out some of the things that are in our way. We also will need mining if we're going to gather any iron ore. So let's get that. It's used up most of our red points. And we have knowledge of some various types of food. Ah, now then, here's something I was looking for. Cremation. We need to research the simple gravestones first, and then research cremation, which requires blue points that we haven't unlocked at all yet, before we can burn any bodies. So for now, I could keep throwing this in the river, or I could actually plant them in the ground, by which I mean bury them. And although I'm just going to plot out these spots down here for eventual graves. Although we will later develop far greater means of making a better and tidier graveyard than these bodies with one red and one white skull will even allow, for now, we're at the bottom of the tech tree, and we need to work with what we've got. Which means we need more markers and fences, we need repair tools, because right now, these red skulls are actually adding negative points. As they get covered up by the wreaths, the negatives that they apply will be covered up, but you never get positive points from those, as the tutorial message told us. Only get positive points for the white skulls. So the red skulls will take up your wreaths, provide no return, and they need to be addressed or they will actually lower your score. Also, open graves, if I am to just dig up another grave and put nothing in it, are worth -2 piece because they're spooky and untidy. I presume that's why anyway. Can also put things in this trunk if I wanted to. Don't want to right now. And the church is closed. So in order to do anything with the library under the church, or anything else to do with the church, we are going to have to tidy up the graveyard first. There's a bridge over here. We could repair it. We need a plank for that. We also need more nails than I have for that. At the very beginning here, the things that I can do are severely limited. So for the time being, I'm just going to continue to wander around and gather what spare resources are available close to home. And I might fast forward some of this. There's an area down here. There's these tangled vines, which when I dig them up, provide me nothing except a significant number of green points. Just understand the vines better. They will also regrow. Enjoy some bread in order to be able to keep working for longer, with the energy that that provides. Our boss, the bishop, should also be coming by sometime soon. Dig up the mess of stumps that somebody left this little patch of forest down here in, because we can use those. Now here's a trick that multiple people have noticed over time. If you stack up logs, like this, then in much the same way that NPCs can push you, push them. And it takes you fewer trips to fill your wood stockpile that way. Which is useful. Also, there's a campfire out here, which can also be used for cooking. like the oven inside. There are fewer things you can do with it, but it can be used to cook those mushrooms on sticks that you may have seen that I unlocked a little bit ago. Super spooky graveyard. Gather some mushrooms while I'm on the subject. Right now, while we don't have any techs unlocked, it's difficult to make much progress with much of anything, and there's a lot of things that we can do nothing with. This will change as we unlock techs. Now the bishop should be back. Hello. He has nothing to say to me until I have finished fixing up the graveyard, unfortunately. Tidy up these stumps. There's a purpose to doing this, and it's not just for the extra firewood. Trees will regrow, but only if the stumps have been cleared away. So doing that will enable more trees to grow there, so I can harvest more wood over there. Yeah, that's almost full. And I can make another couple of lots of wood billets. Just hanging out in the woods. Already becoming kind of aimless, which is my own damn fault, I guess. I researched the chopping spot, which takes 5 of those billets, and will enable me to use more billets to cut into firewood or wood wedges. So I will chop some wedges and then chop some firewood, and then I will be better able to fuel things. That's just assign the rest of the billets to be firewood. But I do need some rest. Let's get some rest. Now it is Miss Charms Day again, and I am so refreshed. And I will resume on the next video.